How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to a brand new Pokemon Champions Team Spotlight. Today we finally hop into Regulation M-B with the team featuring some of the new Megas introduced into Pokemon Champions. Regulation M-B introduced 22 new Pokemon to the Pokemon Champions meta, causing a fun but unfortunately seemingly small shift in the meta overall. Well, two new Megas I personally feel are still being a bit overlooked are Mega Dragalge and Mega Scrafty. Mega Dragalge caught my attention due to its absolutely insane bulk. While its base HP stat of just 65 leaves a bit to be desired, its whopping base 163 special defense stat alongside its base 105 defense stat more than make up for it. Then its impeccable bulk is just further complemented by its ability Regenerator, which allows it to recover 1/3 of its maximum health upon switching out. Then we move on to Scrafty, and I knew Scrafty was a Mega I wanted to build around due to just how cool it is. Like, you can't tell me this guy isn't cool, but even more so than that, I wanted to use it because of how bulky a double Intimidate Pokemon would make the rest of my team. Scrafty hits hard as well with its fighting plus dark stab coverage options, but where it really shines is as that supportive Mega that significantly boosts the defensive prowess of its teammates and disrupts game plans with Fake Out. With these two bulky Megas snatching my attention, I knew that my first team in Regulation M-B would be a team focused on slowing the games down and carving out wins due to its bulk. Let's break down the full team. First up is Mega Dragalge. Mega Dragalge, as I previously stated, is an absolutely defensive monster, as it was not only my first Regulation M-B Pokemon that I recruited from ranch recruits, but it happened to be shiny. Let's freaking go. I think I was destined to use it. Even though Mega Dragalge is extremely slow, its type in a Poison Dragon allows it to take super effective damage from very few of the meta's most popular Pokemon, while being able to hit back for super effective damage on many different things. Mega Dragalge's moveset of Dragon Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Thunderbolt, and Protect gives it solid offensive coverage. Dragon Pulse OHKO's Garchomp with full special attack investment, Sludge Bomb nearly OHKO's Mega Floette and Sylveon, while Thunderbolt deals over 70% to bulky Charizard Wise and runs a small chance to OHKO the more frail fully offensive Charizards. Dragalge's EV spread is just very straightforward, full special attack investment with a modest nature to hit as hard as possible, and then full HP investment. After locking in Dragalge, I knew I was fully committed to making a bulky team, so I decided the next Pokemon had to have one specific role: setting up screens. This brings me to the next Pokemon on the team, and another new Pokemon as of Regulation M-B, Grimmsnarl. With the introduction of a new regulation, we not only gained access to Grimmsnarl, but we also gained access to a new item in Light Clay. Light Clay is a big deal for Grimmsnarl, as thanks to Prankster, it gets to set up priority Light Screen and Reflect that makes your team significantly more bulky for 8 full turns instead of the usual 5. These screens make a big difference for any Pokemon, but are especially good on Pokemon as naturally bulky as Mega Dragalge. Aside from screens, Grimmsnarl has Foul Play and Parting Shot as its other two moves. Foul Play is a nice damaging move for all the physical attackers out there, but most notably it OHKO's Basculegion, while Parting Shot with Prankster Priority allows us to reposition our team nicely once Grimmsnarl has already set up screens, or if it's just in a poor position. Grimmsnarl's EV spread allows us to survive Weather Ball from Martis Charizard Y in the sun, and Wave Crush from Scarf Basculegion without needing a screen up. With a team that's all in on bulk and defensive prowess, Grimmsnarl feels like a great fit for pushing that bulk to its absolute limit. Now, looking at Mega Dragalge alongside Grimmsnarl, it's obvious that Steel types would give us some real trouble, as neither of these two match up well into them. This is where Mega Scrafty enters the team. Scrafty not only gives us a solid answer to Steel types, but its access to double Intimidate makes the rest of the team bulkier. Its stab close combat just delete most Steel types from existence, as it even has a 62.5% chance of OHKOing King Gambits through their Chople Berries while outspeeding them. Its access to Fake Out makes it easier for us to set up Trick Room for our team, since we will definitely want Trick Room as an option for our team featuring these two really slow Megas. Its other two moves are Knock Off and Iron Head. Knock Off hits Farafarigs hard as well as Sinishas, where Iron Head is a nice option for fairies. However, it could be replaced by Ice Punch for Garchomps, Protect for a more defensive option, or even a setup move like Bulk Up or Curse. Mega Scrafty is very bulky on the physical side with a base 135 physical defense stat that is only further complemented by the ability Intimidate. This means Mega Scrafty is a formidable physically defensive threat, whereas Mega Dragalge is a formidable specially defensive threat, making them pretty good alternatives to one another at team preview. Mega Scrafty's EV spread is just very simple: full investment in attack with an adamant nature to hit as hard as possible with full investment in HP, so it's still bulky as well. With screens, double Intimidate, and Fake Out as support options, I knew I wanted a setup sweeper that could really benefit from these options. This is where Sarah Ledge enters the team. Dragalge is a Pokemon that I feel has been flying under the radar since the release of Pokemon Champions, and after watching top VGC player Dawi pilot it to a top 8 finish at the North American International Championship, I became fully convinced in its capabilities. Dragalge has an amazing defensive typing in Fire Ghost that is only further boosted by Flash Fire as its ability. This means Dragalge is immune to Fire type attacks, Fake Out, and Fighting type attacks, while also resisting Fairy, Steel, Grass, Ice, and Bug type attacks. With that many immunities and resistances, it makes setting up a bulk up pretty easy for Dragalge. Then, considering it has a base 125 attack stat and solid bases of 80 and 100 in its defense stats, Dragalge becomes a major threat after just one bulk up. Then Bitter Blade feels like the ultimate attack for it, thanks to it restoring Dragalge's health by 50% of the damage it dishes out, giving Dragalge amazing longevity through healing itself. Considering it only has a base 85 speed stat, it's not fast at all, so having access to this form of self-healing that also damages the opponent is super important for its viability. The rest of Dragalge's moveset is rounded out by Shadow Sneak and Protect. Shadow Sneak is a great stab priority option for knocking down weakened enemies, but it can dish out some serious damage after a bulk up, especially on Pokemon weak to ghosts like Basculegion. Our Dragalge is rocking out with the Cobra Berry as it allows it to take much less damage from all the super effective dark type attacks, but most notably allows it to usually 1v1 King Gambit, a Pokemon that can give this team some trouble. Dragalge's EV spread has 20 EVs in attack, which gives it a 68% chance to OHKO King Gambit with Bitter Blade after a bulk up, while also having a 6.8% chance of OHKO Mega Floette as well. Defensively, Life Orb Garchomp is Dragalge's worst nightmare as far as common Pokemon in the meta go, but with the Reflect up, Dragalge only takes 76% max from Earthquake, while we can also lean in on Mega Scrafty, who thanks to Double Intimidate allows Dragalge to easily tank some of these more powerful attacks like Earthquakes, Wave Crashes, and Rock Slides. With a good matchup into two of the most prominent and dominant Megas in Mega Charizard Y and Mega Floette, Dragalge ended up feeling like the MVP of the team considering how often it felt like a fantastic option into my opponent's teams. Looking at the team now, it was pretty clear as day that we needed to add a Trick Room setter to the team as we are overall just pretty slow. This is where Farigiraf joins the team. Farigiraf is the most consistent and reliable Trick Room setter in the game thanks to its base 120 HP stat, typing, and most notably its ability Armor Tail. Having the ability to use Fake Out while Armor Tail prevents our opponents from being able to use it on us makes getting up Trick Room pretty simple. Furthermore, Armor Tail is a great support ability for Dragalge, who is weak to two noteworthy priority attacks in Aqua Jet and Sucker Punch. Farigiraf also has good synergy with Mega Scrafty, as Scrafty is able to threaten the dark types for it, while it's able to threaten the fighting types like Sneasler in return. Farigiraf's full moveset consists of Twin Beam, Thunderbolt, Trick Room, and Protect. Twin Beam is a nice stab move that OHKO Sneasler through a potential sash. Thunderbolt is a nice coverage option for hitting Charizard Y and Basculegions for good damage, and also allows us to OHKO Life Orb Pelipper. Then, I like running Protect since most opponents don't expect it, but this slot could easily be Helping Hand since it is a really good move on Farigiraf and it would be a great option for giving Mega Dragalge, in particular, that little bit of extra power that it could really use offensively. Our EV spread is heavily invested in special defense, as with Mega Scrafty supporting it, I am more concerned with special attackers knocking it out than physical attackers. This EV spread allows us to always live timid Mega Floette's Life of Ruin. Then, since our Cobra Berry is already being used up by Dragalge and I'm not changing that, it was an easy choice to give Farigiraf a Citrus Berry instead as its item, which is solid for its survivability as well. Alright, then we finally get to the last member of the team, who ended up being a pretty easy choice. When it comes to using Trick Room, I often prefer to use a strong spread attacker as my main Trick Room abuser to quickly wear down my opponent's team while Trick Room is active. This is where Sylveon comes in to round out the team. Sylveon's spread Hyper Voice while holding a Fairy Feather hits like an absolute truck for any Pokemon that doesn't resist it. Sylveon is also pretty bulky, allowing it to fit the overall theme of the team using bulky Pokemon that are also strong attackers. Sylveon fits the team great typing wise too, as it can deal with the dark, fighting, and dragon types that threaten other members of the team. Sylveon's moveset is very standard, just running Hyper Voice, Hyper Beam, Quick Attack, and Protect. With the 30 EVs we have invested in Special Attack and a Quiet Nature, Sylveon can OHKO Mega Floette and Basculegion with the Hyper Beam while having a high chance of also OHKOing King Gambit. Quick Attack is then a nice option for taking out weakened enemies. The defensive EVs on Sylveon alongside Intimidate support or Reflect allow it to tank physical damage nicely, making it less dependent on Trick Room. Quiet Nature is there to make our Sylveon as slow as possible so it can hopefully underspeed other Sylveons under Trick Room and attack first. And just like that, we have the full team. While there are games where screens plus Trick Room are good, I usually find myself relying on screens or Trick Room and not bringing both Grimmsnarl and Farigiraf to games together since they can feel a bit passive offensively. Furthermore, I would have loved to have showed off Mega Dragalge better, but I unfortunately messed up the footage I had recorded where I used it a lot more, not realizing that the in-game audio wasn't recording properly for that, so my apologies for not featuring that part of his team as much as I would have liked. It is also worth noting that the team can struggle against King Gambit if it's well played, as well as our Chaladon specifically when it's supported by Life Orb, Pelipper, and Mega Swampert, as those two alongside it make it decently tough to deal with. Overall, I was able to win tons of games though, with this team going 12-0 to vault myself into Master Ball tier, and then this entire climb in this video is going to be in Master Ball tier after I optimize the team further. I had a blast building and using this team, and I hope you guys consider giving the team a chance yourselves. Speaking of using the team, here's that team ID for those of you who want to try it out, and as always, all I'll ever ask for in return is that you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future team spotlights like this, as well as a lot of other content we have on the way. And then of course, let me know how the games using the team go. I always love to hear about that. But alright. I think it's finally time to hop into the games. Thank you all for watching one last time. Alright, we get our first opponent. We're going to kick off the climb in the 1900s, so not a bad place to start. Master Ball 2. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher on that ladder. We're going to rock into an opponent with Sylveon, Senecia, Farigiraf, Incineroar, Oranguru, and Mega Camera. So this is a hard Trick Room team. Alright, a hard Trick Room matchup. This is one of those few matchups where Trick Room's actually going to benefit our opponent's team more than our own, so we need to be aware of that. Let's come up with a game plan. First, we have to prevent Mega Camera from benefiting from Trick Room being up, as that's going to be the main thing that would deal a lot of damage to our team, not as much so worried about Sylveon. Secondly, Dragalge deals with 4 out of 6 of their team, so we need to keep it healthy. It also prevents Camera from going for Heat Wave spam, so it's going to play a vital role in this one. Third, we need to lead Scrafty to deal heavy damage to both Trick Room sellers, whether it's Oranguru or Farigiraf. Knockoff's going to deal a ton of damage, so we definitely need to prioritize having Scrafty in the lead and just overall using it wisely, as Sylveon's basically the only thing that just really takes care of it. Fourth, we need to bring Farigiraf to reset Trick Room, since our opponent having it up is exactly what their game plan wants. So we need to reset Trick Room with Farigiraf, plus we can also use it to deny fake out pressure from Incineroar. I think I like Scrafty lead just because of how much damage it does to the Farig. I kind of like Scrafty Sylveon, if I'm being completely honest, but I guess my own Farig is a little enticing, especially to retwist the dimensions. And then would we want something like Grimmsnarl? I think we would want the Dragalge because of its matchup into the Senecia, the Sylveon. Has a good matchup into a lot of stuff. And I think it's just Farig, just to reset, take powerful attacks, reset Trick Room. So this will be interesting if we get like Intimidated, which stops us from OHKOing the Farig. Shall be interesting. Alright, they lead Incineroar Farigiraf. We lead Scrafty Sylveon. So pretty expected. What I'll be able to do here is just go for the knockoff into the Farig, and then hopefully we eat a fake out here, and then Armortail like obviously stops the fake out, and then we can reset Trick Room before Camera Up can come in. There's the fake out, we do avoid that. So we catch them with that. Knockoff should still do a lot, it does. Sash, that's crazy. There's the Trick Room, we're gonna reset it again though, so there won't be any free switching into Camera Up. I think we just get rid of the Farig, and we could just reset that Trick Room. Alright, that's fine. Not stressing that one. It's not gonna kill. reset those twisted dimensions. Alright, so now we could just knock out the Farrig and ensure Trick Room never goes up. And I think I like that play. Even a parting shot shouldn't stop us here. Oh, we're faster than Incineroar anyways. And there's the Darkest Lariat into our Protect. Not bad. Don't let Trick Room go up. Sylveon comes in because of that. That's a pretty free switch into that. And then I don't really like anything else we can do here. Are we faster than Sylveon? I want to say yes if this is a... I don't want to just lose Scrafty though. Let's go there. And let's... I think we need to let this go down, so I'm just going to get some damage off on the Sylveon. They're the fastest, so yeah, this is slow min speed Pokemon on this Trick Room team, which makes sense. Doesn't kill. Hyper Voice will. Yeah, there's the Hyper Voice. Not bad. Alright, now we could go into our own Sylveon. Kinda want to bulk up. Kinda do, kinda don't. I feel like we could bulk up. Let's bulk up and let's Hyper Voice. Are not going to see any protects. Interesting. There's the Darkest Lariat. We should take that pretty well. Yeah. That's good damage. Not bad. So I can knock out their Sylveon with Dragalge now, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to protect. And... ooh, Incineroar does Flare Blitz the right slot. Smart. But does that give me the KO on both now? That may have just given me... oh, they're faster? Oh, we're min speed. We're speed time. Oh, not the speed tie. I never make that play if I think we speed tie. Oh, that sucked. That sucked. But Scrafty here is amazing. That sucked though. That really sucked. I never make that play if I thought we were speed tying. That was crazy. But yeah, I am min speed Sylveon, which I don't necessarily need to be, so something maybe to reconsider. But this is just going to be a double knockout, so then we should win against just camera up. Yeah. Camera up. And they can't just spam Heat Wave since Dragalge will love that. So it has to kind of go for Earth Power. Has some things to consider. We're just going to close combat. And obviously Bitter Blade. Let's see what they go for. Bitter Blade. That's already decent damage, especially with the healing. Yeah, we love that. Close combat. Ooh, almost knocked out. Ancient Power. Does knock us out. Does it give it? Does not look like it got +1 in each stat, unfortunately. So that should be game. Should be GG's. So not bad, not bad. We beat the hard Trick Room team. Not bad. Okay, get our first win. And let's keep going. Alright, our next opponent's going to have a team of Tyranitar, potentially Mega Tyranitar, Whimsicott. I actually think it is Mega Tyranitar, Whimsicott, Basculegion, Garchomp, Charizard Y, and Sneasler. So running that double weather to have a little bit of versatility with that. But it is a little, generally you probably don't see the Tyranitar and Whimsicott come in games together. So that makes me think it's definitely White Herb Sneasler. Let's think about this. I think Dragalge seems really good. Alright, this time we run into a dual weather, potentially dual mega team with Tyranitar and definitely Charizard Y. Looking at this team, I see a lot of physical attackers, so Scrafty is once again strong, as Intimidate into 4 out of the 6 is really good. Then, I also noticed that setting up Trick Room might just win the game since there's no fairy resistances, so Sylveon's Hyper Voice is an enormous threat. Furthermore, if we can get Dragalge set up with a few bulk ups, it becomes an enormous threat as it has the priority for Basculegion, and then it can hopefully punch through everything that isn't Tyranitar. Then lastly, Armatel for Atherig disrupts Fake Out from Sneasler and Prankster from Whimsicott, so seems like a good option to have on the team as well, aside from just the Trick Room support that it provides. As long as we get Trick Room up, we'd rather have Sylveon. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, this matchup's always tricky because Garchomp Charizard just creates some crazy issues, but they don't lead that, thankfully. Okay. So we are just going to see the Whimsicott play around with. I think I just want to attack. I think I attack and Fake Out the Whimsicott. And with the Tyranitar at -2, we just say not as big of a threat, at least at this particular moment. Tyranitar protects, nice. So this is a great play. Whimsicott flinches, and Bitter Blade. Take it out. So not bad. That turn 1 protect with Tyranitar is so readable. Happens so often. We haven't seen. So Garchomp is scary. Garchomp is for sure not really what we want to see, honestly. And I don't have a great way of getting out of this spot. Is it there instead? And then I switch, I guess? I don't know. I'm gonna go for the Tyranitar with Scrafty. Alright, we do see Tyranitar withdraw. What comes in? Basculegion. Alright, they got us. I shouldn't have went for that. Not smart. Not smart. Stomping Tantrum. Still crazy damage. Got us. So we gotta see what they go for. I think a Protect's logical here and a knockoff. See what this Basculegion goes for. Stomping Tantrum and a Scrafty. Good damage. Oh, they call that. Oh, they call our bluff so hard. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Shouts to them, that was a good call. I just wanted to go down to our citrus. We were just so close to it. So now, I think it's just still Trick Room. Yeah, I'm just gonna double attack. I'm gonna Trick Room, Hyper Voice. If we lose Sylveon here, we probably just lose though. So maybe it was protect Sylveon. Yeah, I should have protected Sylveon. Okay, never mind. Never mind, never mind. Yeah, because that just takes us out. Okay. Goodness gracious, man. Should be good damage though. Yeah, that's crazy damage to itself. Yeah, driver's seat. Crit on Basculegion didn't matter. It was at 45. So not the cleanest played. Could have played this a little cleaner. Scrafty play was really predictable. But now all they got is Tyranitar, and I just can't beat these two. I can bulk up, and I can actually just Hyper Beam. You see the protect. We're gonna bulk up. Sandstorm subsides. I feel like this is just Rock Slide, so I'm gonna get damage down. Rock Slide's probably good damage, but we do have some defense in our Sylveon. Sandstorm back. There's the Rock Slide. Come on, Sylveon. Sylveon lives. It's all about flinching. It's all about flinching. Don't flinch with the Cerulege, but Sylveon's way more important. Yeah, Cerulege does pitiful damage, sadly. Sylveon. Oh, Sylveon. No, 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 Sylveon. Oh, we lost. I think we lost because of Sylveon getting flinched. Come on, bro. Do I chance that they missed the that they missed the Rock Slide? Do I chance that? I don't think I could chance that. I think I gotta get whatever damage I can down here. Yeah, can't chance that. Gotta take the damage. If I don't miss Rock Slide. Ooh, they miss it on something. Cerulege. Okay. So the quick attack was the correct play. Miss on Cerulege is huge. Wish we bulked up. Ah, that little bit of healing is a big deal. Because I think it puts us outside of range fully of the next Rock Slide. So now, as long as we don't flinch, I think we win. We do need to not flinch. Oh no, this is single target. This is single target. This is single target. That's more damage. Yeah. Sylveon. Sylveon let me down there, man. Sylveon let me down. Sylveon let me down. I needed Sylveon not to flinch, man. Sylveon let me down. Sylveon. Why? I needed Sylveon not to flinch there. We were in a solid spot, but you know, Rock Slide did the Rock Slide thing. Rock Slide flinches super suck. We all know that, but nevertheless, you never want to be in a position where that can so easily just swing the tide of a battle, and unfortunately, that's where we found ourselves. I think it was largely due to this turn. Looking back, hindsight 2020, of course, but I still should not have made this play. If my opponent goes for the Wave Crash into Farigiraf and knocks it out in the way that I was thinking might happen. Scrafty gets to knock out the Basculegion in return when knockoff, and then we got Scrafty, Basculegion, and Sylveon left for just Garchomp and Tyranitar, and I think that would have been a lot better than the position that we ended up in. So obviously, once again, hindsight 2020, it's easy to say that now, but I just shouldn't have made this play, considering if I just go for the moves that I wanted to with both slots, my opponent can't knock out both, so we would have been in a pretty decent spot, considering that Scrafty, of course, resists Rock Slide, so it wouldn't have been as bad. It would have still sucked if he flinched, but it would have been a little bit better of position for sure. Lots of different ways we could have navigated the situation from there, but because we protected the Farigiraf in this position, we ended up, unfortunately, on the wrong side of a good prediction from our opponent with the Wave Crash and Stomping Tantrum into Scrafty that just put us a little bit too much on the back foot, to the point where we then didn't get up Trick Room. And we said how much Trick Room determined this game, and we weren't able to get it up because we played a little too conservatively. So yeah, something to learn from that, of that. If you got like pretty good plays on both ends, don't try to make that prediction and go for protect. Just kind of let the chips fall where they might and accept whatever outcome you end up with, because Nido's that bad. So definitely a learning experience in that one. And that's kind of the downside of when you play some of these slower teams, which is why I think a lot of people just have foregone Trick Room at tournaments and stuff. They just don't want Rock Slide to be their Achilles heel. Nevertheless, we're going to get a standard Charizard Y team. I'm not even going to go through this team. It's just way too standard for me to even care. So let's just debate how we want to lead into this. Alright, going into a matchup against a very standard Mega Charizard Y, Mega Floette team, the game plan is simple, and I really do believe that's most effective when it comes to teams this prevalent on ladder. You just gotta have a simple, effective game plan with your team that allows you to beat them, or at least be in a good enough position against them, and otherwise, if you're building a team that doesn't have a good matchup into them, you're just making things a little too hard for yourself. So definitely don't be stubborn, don't just play a team that's bad into the most common meta team, and just like, why am I not climbing? Well, maybe fix your matchup into Charizard Y, Mega Floette. Obviously a little easier said than done, but still try to have at least a decent game plan into something like this. For us, it's really simple. Ceruledge is the key. As long as we get rid of Garchomp, it does major work with just a single bulk up. So I'm really hoping that we could get that one bulk up, and then at Oko's Kingambit, it has a 50% chance around that to Oko max HP. Mega Floette obviously does huge damage with a bulk up going for that Shadow Sneak into Basculegion. It walls Charizard. Whimsicott's not a concern, so really good stuff. And if we then, step number 2, if we can further support Ceruledge with a Reflect from Grimmsnarl, it even goes further, because the biggest threats to Ceruledge are those physical attackers, the Basculegion, the Kingambit, the Garchomp. So we get that Reflect up. Ceruledge is just chilling behind a bulk up plus Reflect. So that sounds really strong and definitely something I want to prioritize. Then, of course, this is another matchup that Trick Room's super strong, considering that I'm saying that we got a decent matchup into Kingambit because we can Oko it with the Ceruledge after that one bulk up, and obviously we have the Cobra Berry so that first hit doesn't deal too much damage. That makes it to where the only slow thing on my opponent's team doesn't really deal with our main key to victory here. So considering that, Trick Room looks super strong. Our team's slow, their team's fast. Aside from Kingambit, it looks really strong. And then lastly, Mega Dragalge also will be a little hard to take down with a Reflect up as well. It is also threatened by that Earthquake. Kingambit does decent damage with a Kowtow Cleave, and Basculegion's Last Respects obviously does a lot of damage as well, but with the Reflect up, all that damage is kind of soaked up a lot more nicely, and then especially if we could get it under Trick Room, then things will get scary for our opponent. So I really like ensuring that Mega Dragalge actually comes in this game as well. Good matchup for it, just considering the game plan we're going for as well. So yeah, that's kind of the game plan. Let's see how it turns out. Let's see if we just see Garchomp Charizard. We do not see that. We see Floette Kingambit, which is much better by my standards. Well, considering that, I think I'll just bulk up. And I think I just Parting Shot just to not chance. I guess I could just Reflect. Yeah, I think I want to go all in on the Ceruledge. Let's just Reflect. Probably just take a Dazzling Gleam though, which is why I should have probably Parting Shot. Yeah, there's the Moonblast. So that's gonna occur. Yep. That's gonna be a Cleave. Take that pretty nicely with the Reflect, plus the Bulk Up, plus the Cobra Berry. And then now, should not be able to be one shot. So we could Bitter Blade. And we could Trick Room. Yeah. May see a Protect from the King Gambit. Hopefully not. Just a withdraw. Garchomp? What is it? It is Garchomp. Do see the Light of Ruin. Just trying to get rid of it. Almost does it. Basically destroys itself in the process. It's good damage on Garchomp. How much do we do to Garchomp with Fareg? Twin Beam. See on the Garchomp. Gotta hope it's not Citrus. Does like 40. I want to believe we can knock this out. There's probably a slim chance we don't though. I think we just let Floette kill itself for Protect. Yeah, there's the Protect. Alright, let's see if this double up can knock this out. We really needed to. It's kind of pathetic damage. Alright, that's not bad. I don't think we knock it out though. Let's see, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's King Gambit back. I think we just can knock out the... I guess I'd always rather knock out the King Gambit. And then just Twin Beam there. Oh, Cleave there. Cool. Works for me. Floette never 1v1 Ceruledge. That for sure works for me. Yeah, that's beautiful. We'll take that every time. Surprising play, in my opinion. This Moonblast shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, actually that's a lot of damage. Alright, we got this last turn of Trick Room though. I could just bulk up and then Shadow Sneak. Oh, there's still a Basque Legion. Oh moly. Holy moly. Oh, they just forfeited though? Why did they forfeit? Why'd they forfeit? Why'd they forfeit? I don't agree with that personally. I can't say I agree with that. I guess I always double the Basque Legion. I don't agree with that forfeit though. Like, let's say they get that right, and I double Basque Legion and they have Protect. I'm not in a good spot at that point. I can knock out that Floette, but then I'm in an awkward spot against the Basque Legion. That's surprising to me. That's surprising. By the way, a win's a win. We take our wins where we could get them. Anyways, they're gonna get a new opponent. They're gonna have another standard team just with Kangaskhan thrown in the mix. Maybe Mega Kangaskhan, I'm gonna assume it is. With that added into the mix, it definitely makes me want to lean a little heavier on Scrafty. Very much so. And I think I will do that. Yeah, so what if we just bring that? Doesn't seem too bad to me. It does make me a little nervous about the... Yeah, actually, I guess we just lead Dragalge. And Scrafty, Sylveon could be in the back. Alright, so in a matchup where we're going against another pretty standard Charizard wide team that just happens to have Kangaskhan slotted in there, the game plan's still pretty simple. Dragalge is going to play a big role, but I think overall screens can allow the entire team to just kind of bulk their way through this matchup, so I don't think we need to rely on Trick Room like we have in other matchups. Reflect is obviously really strong again, as 4 out of the 6 attackers on my opponent's team are physical attackers, so that should have a big role in the game. Then, looking at their team even further, Mega Scrafty is so strong into all of those 4 attackers between the Kangaskhan, Garchomp, King Gambit that it OHKOs, even if it gives it the Defiant boost, and then the, obviously, Basket Legion. None of those appreciate Scrafty's Intimidate, and especially don't appreciate the double Intimidate, so that looks pretty strong as well. However, we may not even need to worry about the Kangaskhan, because especially if it's not Mega, and it's just the Fake Out Last Resort sets that I've seen a lot of, regular Kangaskhan with Scrappy to hit ghost types, and it just goes for Fake Out Last Resort and does a lot of damage with Stab Last Resort. That really can't touch our team if they're thinking Armor Tail Farigiraf is coming in. And then obviously Farigiraf has a fantastic matchup into Whimsicott, because if it Tailwinds like it just loves to do, it's a Tailwind just abuser. Thankfully we could just Trick Room, and then the big counterplay to that always for Whimsicott is to then Prankster Encore you into Trick Room, but you can't do that against a Farigiraf. Armor Tail is just such a strong ability, so I could really see our opponent kind of predicting that Farigiraf, considering how well it matches up into those two, and that can allow us to maybe put them on the back foot from the beginning, based on some very predictable kind of play or lead that they go with based around that. So I think we could bulk our way through this matchup, not rely on Trick Room, rely on the screens instead, and just rely on how well certain pieces of our team how well they go into the pieces on our opponent's team. So let's see how that plays out. Yeah, especially not having any chance of attacking the Charizard before it attacks us. Oh no, we'll have to play smart for sure. King Gambit, Basket Legion, that's a crazy lead. I feel like we're faster than King Gambit. Yeah, we most certainly are. So I can actually just foul play. I think I'm gonna foul play Protect. See this. Aqua Jet, no thanks. Foul play. Does OHKO. That's why we like that. Like that on the Grimmsnarl. And there's the cleave, so we saw a double up into Dragalge, really wanting Dragalge gone. So really showcasing that they're definitely Charizard Y in the back. Should be an okay switch in, not amazing. Oh yeah, especially with Rock Slide. Yeah, there's the cleave. Shouldn't take that too poorly. Yeah, nice. I could Parting Shot, but the only thing to go into... Yeah, I don't want to go into anything. So I really do think it's just foul play. I could just kill it though. Let's see here though. Alright, King Gambit just straight up withdraw, surprising. Charizard comes in, okay. Just another rock slide. Grimmsnarl avoids, that's really big. It's got damage down on the Garchomp. I think we light screen. And I could just knock out Garchomp now, maybe? Quick attack does like 29% tops. Yeah, actually does not do enough. So let's light screen and I guess let's just stay in. It's not ideal, but I cannot switch. I guess I could have protected, but I don't know exactly what that accomplishes. Kinda just want to switch. Here's the Earthquake, should be good damage sadly. And then Earthquake plus Heat Wave, do we just lose both? We might just lose both here. Heat Wave. Oh, a miss. Miss on Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl avoiding everything. Alright, yeah, it's definitely cooking Sylveon now. So the quick attack made sense, because it would have, with the Life Orb damage, it would have meant curtains. Curtains. I think I get this off while I can. So Garchomp may try to switch out. Let's Parting Shot. And let's Mega Evolve Close Combat. Yeah. Alright, no switches. Definitely a little surprised by that. Garchomp protects, okay. That's fine. Into Cerulege. Can Cerulege at neutral knock out Charizard? I mean, Garchomp. Don't take too much from that. Garchomp's at 26. Just barely doesn't do enough damage. Just barely. Probably still close combat. I can also just protect here, which isn't the worst idea. Yeah, what if we just protect? Just go for that same play in the Garchomp. Yep, Garchomp withdraws. Nice. Alright, well now I wish I didn't protect. That's okay. Good damage. Slow our defenses, we get rid of the King Gambit. Garchomp comes back in. What can we do about it? Because it probably just Earthquakes. So does Cerulege or Scrafty need to switch out more? Put the Reflect up, Earthquake. I know it's Life Orb. 83. It shouldn't be able to take us out. So I think due to that alone, we switch. Yeah, shouldn't take us out. Does not. Doesn't take out Grimmsnarl either. There's the heat wave. Very nice. We'll take out Grimmsnarl. It's fine at this point. And there's Garchomp gone. A little bit of rough skin to throw us back down, but that should not be enough for Solar Beam to cause us any issues. Scrafty could come back in. We should still have the light screen for a couple more turns. Yeah, light screen for 4 more turns, so we're chilling on that light screen. Should just be a Charizard Protect because of Fake Out. So that should be a free bulk up. Oh, wow. Wow, I'm surprised no Protect. I bulked up because I thought that was a for sure Protect. Loses its Sunlight. That's GG's, yeah. Alright, not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Love those, we love those. Alright, let's take a quick moment to just reflect back on that game, because I think it's very easy when you win to not really do any introspective thinking back on how you could have went about that battle a little bit more optimally, and I think this is a great opportunity for that, because I do think we made numerous suboptimal plays that could have been more costly if my opponent would have made better plays on their end as well. So I think this is very vital to your growth as a player to reflect back on even how your wins could have been better executed. So that's what we're going to do. Let's start off with this board state with Sylveon and Grimmsnarl in front of Garchomp and Kingambit. Even with Reflect Up, at the health Sylveon's at, it will get knocked out by Iron Head from an adamant, fully invested Kingambit, which I'm assuming this is, which is why I protected Sylveon. Nevertheless though, I think our best play was just to Hyper Voice, because even if the scenario that I was thinking might happen happens, where Garchomp protects and Kingambit just takes the damage and then knocks out Sylveon, we then can come in with either of our 2 Pokemon in the back and not be in the worst position. We did go for foul play on the Garchomp, so its health was low, so whether it's Cerulege with its Cobra Berry still intact coming in and threatening a knockout on the Kingambit, and it wouldn't have taken that much damage behind a Reflect with the Cobra Berry from like a Sucker Punch Earthquake play, especially because we can Parting Shot the Garchomp even further, so that wouldn't have been that bad, even with the Life Orb on the Garchomp. And then let's say we go into Mega Scrafty instead, and we give the Defiant boost to Kingambit. It still is outsped in O-Code by the Scrafty, and it can only go for Sucker Punch, which wouldn't deal much damage, into Grimmsnarl, which ×4 resists it, or the Scrafty that also ×4 resists the Dark Stab. So neither would have been in that bad of a position, even with the boost on the Kingambit, and the Garchomp would have been neutralized thanks to the Intimidate that we would have had, that we would have laid down on it as well. So that would have also been a pretty solid spot. And then Cerulege just wins. Once we get rid of the Garchomp, Cerulege just wins against Charizard plus Kingambit, especially if we get 1 bulk up down. Then I can just Shadow Sneak, Garchomp's gone. I never lose to Kingambit and Charizard with the Reflect Up with Cobra Berry. It just never happened. So that would have definitely been the better way to execute this turn. Instead, I protect it. Easy to say now, but I still think, looking back, that was a play I should have been able to identify. Moving on to our second misplay, we were in this position then after I make that play where Charizard comes in, Garchomp's now at 36%, and we got Grimmsnarl and Sylveon here. The play I go for is I do not quick attack. I just go for a normal attack with Sylveon, and I think that was a misplay. And this is also why I thought that last play was bad, because we put our Sylveon in a weird spot where a double up with 2 faster Pokemon with no Trick Room up knocks it out. Nevertheless, Garchomp revealed it was Life Orb, so I should have considered that even though Quick Attack Sylveon didn't knock out Garchomp at this health, it did enough damage to where Garchomp would have knocked itself out with its Life Orb after attacking. And that, once again, once Garchomp's gone, and we got Sun coming up from that Charizard that's going to boost our own Cerulege, and it can't deal with it, and then Cerulege is faster, knocks out Kingambit, Cerulege just wins once Garchomp's gone. So I should have definitely went for that quick attack and allowed it to knock itself out once it went for an attack and then took the Life Orb damage. I think that was pretty obvious that that was the play, considering I knew that Sylveon was going to get Earthquake, Heat Wave here was so obvious. So I should have definitely respected that, went for quick attack, allowed Garchomp to knock itself out, and then we're in the driver's seat. And Grimmsnarl avoided the Heat Wave, and we got lucky because of that, because it could have been just a tiny bit more dicey. I still think we win with Scrafty Cerulege coming in here, but it could have been a little bit less clean than it was. Then the last misplay I think we made was here in this board state with the Garchomp, with the Charizard, with the Scrafty, and with the Cerulege out. This play here, I go for Protect on Cerulege, and that was because I was considering that Life Orb Garchomp might just go for Earthquake in this position and get good damage down on our Cerulege that I don't really want down on it. However, it never knocks it out, so that just did not make a ton of sense. I think we always bulk up here, or we just go for an attack into the, or we just like double the Garchomp slot. I don't think it ever makes sense for me to not attack here, because once the Charizard's walled, we have Light Screen up, so we know Scrafty's not getting knocked out by the Charizard, so we don't have to be so, like, we're not afraid of Scrafty getting knocked out really here, other than a double up. And if we think Scrafty's getting doubled up, then we never, like, if we think Earthquake and maybe a Weather Ball is going into Scrafty, we don't want to protect here. We want to get Garchomp out of here. We want to put ourselves in a little bit of a better position, so we can finish this game. So I also think that wasn't, obviously what happened is the Kingambit switches out. We do get the close combat off on that, but and knock it out, but we protected Cerulege, and Cerulege needed that bulk up to then knock out Garchomp with a Shadow Sneak. And once again, we were never knocked out anyway, so we just didn't need to be so afraid of this Garchomp, and that's something I definitely got to learn as a player, is just stop being so willing to click Protect. I think it's so easy to fall into the, I'm a little nervous, that sounds like more damage than I think, let me just Protect and see how it goes. I think it's very easy to fall into that trap, and it's something I'm definitely trying to get better at as a player, because I'm noticing I definitely default to Protect as the optimal play too often, and I do think there are a lot of scenarios where it isn't the optimal play. Even if you do take a lot of damage, you just got to consider, what will the board state look like? Does it actually knock me out? And what is likely from my opponent, considering what I'm predicting. And I was going for close combat, predicting Kingambit to come in, and if I think Kingambit's coming in and Garchomp's not gonna stay in, why would I ever Protect? Like, I guess I was playing for both options, which is a good thing to do. You do want to play for both options sometimes, or you're just indecisive, but it's a little too easy to do that even when it's not, like, the outcome isn't that bad. And that's one of these scenarios where if they stay in with Garchomp and attack, it's not that bad. I never get knocked out by Charizard after Garchomp's Life Orb damage through Reflect. It just doesn't happen. So definitely something I'm working on and trying to get better at. Alright, we're going to get a new opponent with just Standard. Once again, I'm not calling these teams out anymore. I'm not saying all the Pokemon. I said that same exact lineup of Pokemon so many times. I'm done saying it over and over and over. It's the Standard team that you guys are very well familiar with at this point. So kudos to our opponent for bringing Standard. Alright, another matchup against a Big 6 team, which is really unfortunate because I wanted to give you guys a wider range of opponents for this video, but it just didn't happen in the time frame I needed it to, so my apologies for that. And obviously another game that we're not bringing Mega Dragalge to, which is unfortunate, but it just kind of is what it is. Nevertheless, against this Big 6 team, I just want to focus on Trick Room. You can focus on Trick Room or Screens, but this time we're going to go Trick Room and try to just power our way through while having that speed control advantage. Cerulege and Mega Scrafty every time against these teams look strong, so they are both coming again. And then the only other thing to keep in mind is Kingambit is their only quote-unquote slow Pokemon. Charizard, everyone else is just a bit too fast. So that's the only one that really can throw off our game plan in Trick Room. So as long as we play around Kingambit well and make good use of our Trick Room turns, we should win. Let's hop into it. Let's try going no Grimmsnarl. I know I'm not bringing Dragalge a lot, but unfortunately we're just not getting the matchups. We're really not getting the matchups. See if this is King Gambit. Garchomp flow pads, okay. That's fair. So I think our play is pretty simple here, and I don't care if King Gambit comes in. I think our play is always fake out Floette, Mega Evolve, and Trigger. King Gambit switch in seems decently likely, but it doesn't look like it's happening. Shouldn't take too much damage from -2 Garchomp, even with the Life Orb. I see the logic from our opponent on the Dragalge covering its bases. Like, Mega Floette answers Scrafty, and Garchomp answers the Dragalge. Oh, not the Dragon Tail tech. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Oh, I hate that so much. God dang it, I hate that so much. That's so awful for us. Yikes. Okay, I gotta switch that back in. And protect? Oh, the Dragon Tail tech. Never in a million years did I see that coming. Oh, they got me, they got me, they got me. I think I have to attack. I think I gotta get damage down on Floette. Garchomp withdraws, that's good for us. Get Ferrig back in here, probably take a huge chunk. Just a Gleam, okay. Still pretty bad, but could have been worse. That's decent damage, good healing, but wish it was just a little bit better. Here I really want to bring Scrafty back in, but I know that's not smart. That's just not smart. If they don't double... What is smart here? I don't know what my ideal play is here. I don't think I could just lose Cerralege, but I think I'm just gonna lose Ferrig, and I'm gonna be in the same spot next turn with Cerralege. There's the Moonblast. Can we live that? Barely. Nice. Nice. We'll get Trick Room up. Thought I heard some. Alright. We'll get Trick Room up. Let's look at Bascu Legion, man. Shadow Sneak does about 50. And then let's go for Rig. Let's go Arset. Let's go Thunderbolt. Alright, if I double into that slot, I should kill it. As long as it's not like a super bulky set. Yep, that doesn't look super bulky. Oh, it lives on one? No, 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 no. No, it wasn't supposed to live on one. It wasn't supposed to live on one. Brother. Brother. It wasn't supposed to live on one. Oh, that was nasty. That was icky. I didn't like that. Alright, Scrafty, Sylveon. Oh, our worst nightmare. So the only real play I got for this is this. It's just faking it out. It's kind of all I can do. Wish I would have predicted that, but whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. Nah, it does matter now. Double protect screws us. I should be able to win this one with, depending on if we could have, we need to have, this one may be super close. I think I'm gonna slightly lose. So I think I have to protect here to not lose Sylveon. Oh, that may change things, maybe. Oh, we were slower the whole time. Wait, what? Oh, he's Sash. He's Sash. Okay, that's huge. The Floette not coming out yet is huge.
Huh?
Cleave into the... Okay. Okay, that's huge. How do we pounce on that? In Trick Room, we're slower. So I could just do that. And Hyper Voice. And it shouldn't even... Yeah, we're slower. That shouldn't matter. Double protects, probably. No double protect. Oh, is this GG's then? Is this GG's? Oh, it's gonna come down to... It's gonna come down to the wire. I think it's gonna come down to, does Light of Ruin Mega Floette kill my Sylveon? I hate freaking... No, I need to see Light of Ruin. Show me Light of Ruin. Oh, it says it has a chance. It has a chance. Because I think Scrafty's cooked no matter what. And I have to quick attack. I have to quick attack. I think it's Dazzling Gleam here. We knock out the King Gambit. I take too much damage and I lose to Light of Ruin. There's that. Oh, Moonblast on Sylveon and not even Light of Ruin. I guess you can't take the damage if you're not. Oh, that's beautiful. Why is that not dazzling? Why is that not dazzling? Oh, I think they just didn't think. Wait, why would you go for Sylveon? You had +1. You had +1 King Gambit. Doesn't it always take me out with... I don't understand that. Yeah, doesn't it always take me out with Iron Head? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they made that play. We'll take it, but I'm just not sure. I don't get it. I can't say I fully get it. Thank you so much for all the support on the Pokemon Champions content. I know it took me a while to get my first Regulation B team out, so I apologize for that, but I hope you guys still vibed out with it, and I really appreciate you guys watching the video, obviously, all the way to this point. That really is awesome, and it means so much to me. Hope you guys leave a like. Hope you guys subscribe. Obviously not expected, just greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in, nevertheless, and much more teams will be on the way. I'm trying to get things rolling with the Regulation M-B here swiftly, now that I will actually have some time next week. Not really this week right now, but starting next week, I should have some time to dive into that stuff, so I'm hoping to get everything rolling. So thank you guys for your patience. It means the world to me. See you guys in the next video. For now, that's it for me. Peace out.